Hey, my name is Jirai with Performance Restoration Dent Repair. I'm located in northern Colorado in downtown Longmont. I'm going to fix this truck today, and I'm going to give you guys a couple tips that I like to implement when I'm working on larger hail projects or any hail project. This can carry over into just larger door smashes and other repairs as well. But these are just some tips that are going to help you out. This is not going to be for the new dent tech. These are going to be for the guys who've been around the block a while and they already know how to push. But that being said, this is what I do. So the next tip is going to be to get you a pouch. I got this one from Home Depot for about 10 bucks. You got to make sure that you get one that doesn't have the metal brackets in it, and you just want a simple pouch. They make a bunch of different kinds of these. You got to be careful how your hammers are hanging as you're working on the side panels. You don't want to have them hit and scratch too much, but as long as you're mindful of it, they work good. Some of the things I like to keep in my pouch is a drive tool. A drive tool is just something that you can use for smaller dents in an open panel if you don't want to reach down to get a a leverage bar or an S-hook to hang. You can just grab this out of your pocket or out of your pouch and just push up a couple little dents. I also like to keep my alcohol in my pouch. I keep my knockdown in my pouch, my blending hammer, and then a few of my most used tabs, which I use the dead centers for hail, just different size, but these are the dent reapers, and these ones are can't remember the name of these, but I just got those. But yeah, these are some of the things that I keep in my pouch. I also keep another hammer to use with my knockdown, but most of everything I need is right here for glue pulling minus my gun. So something else you do want to get is a cordless gun. Most techs are using these days. This is the Trifecta. It doesn't leak. It's going to make you faster. The glue comes out really precise, so I highly recommend these. So another tip is to have hangers on all four doors. I like to hang them on all four doors. That way you don't have to move them around. If you want to move from one door to the other, you can do it really quick. This is just an easy tip you can do. Either buy them or make them. It'll make you faster. The next tip is to get some sort of cart or a system for tool organization. This is something that I struggle with, but I'm getting better on. Just having your tools in place where you can reach down and grab them quickly. Keeping them in a consistent spot so you kind of know what is what and you can just reach down and grab it. You just got to stay in a flow as you're pushing because if you're just scrambling around losing stuff, obviously it's going to slow you down. So get your crap organized. This is my setup. It could use some work, but I think it's pretty decent. So a big thing when you're working on a big hail project is just your mindset, staying focused, not getting distracted, and not having ADD as you're working. I see a lot of dent techs who are inexperienced who they hop all over the vehicle. They'll push here for a second, and then they'll hop here. They'll move over here to a different angle. Whenever you're working on hail, you want to focus in on an area and then glass that area. For instance, I am going to work on this little quarter section here, so about 25% of the roof, and excuse my beeping, I'm going to glass this section, or attempt to, from this angle. I'm not going to move my light until I hit every dent and glass every dent with my lights where they're at. Another thing you want to do, you want to have two lights. Hail techs, we call this cross-checking, or dent guys. So normally I'll have two fathead lights up here. My other fathead is dead. So I got one here and this one's cross-checking. That's because when you're fixing dents, the dent may look fixed from one angle, but you move your light and you have a low or a high that didn't read from the way that the light was set over there. So cross-checking allows you to pretty much glass the dents without having to move all over and adjust your light as much. So just keep your mindset focus. Don't get distracted, and don't hop all over the vehicle. I like to split the panel up, so maybe into a half section or a quarter section, and just try to glass those sections and then move on to the next section. That way when you're done with the roof, or when you think you're done, you're not going to have 500 dents that are 80% fixed. Every dent that you've hit is fixed, and then obviously it's inevitable that you're probably going to miss something, but that's why you have quality control. But yeah, just stay focused and don't move around a lot. Okay, so working on rails, this separates the men's from the boys. Yes, sir. So again, I like to keep some of my most frequently used tabs in my pouch. So I like those dead center reapers, the smaller ones, and then some of the other little bit larger dead centers. Just a good variation. Whoop, flying all over the place. I like to only keep 3 to 4 tabs in my pouch, the ones that I frequently use for rails. As I'm setting these tabs, I really only set 2 to 3 tabs at a time. I've seen some guys that will set, 5, 10, maybe even 20 tabs on a rail. That technique doesn't work as well for me because I pull every dent different. I pull, each dent is different. So if you're placing a bunch of tabs, basically you're going to end up with a bunch of highs because you're not going to be able to remember the depth of each dent. So I like to place 2 or 3. Everyone does it a little bit different. So here basically I'm placing a tab right in this dent, and then I'm placing another one. This one's a little bit larger for a shallow dent. All right, so my tabs just set. I only like to place 2 or 3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the tabs. I like to try and pull them flat. That should be your goal every time. You don't want to pull big mounds and make more work for yourself. So pull it flat. That one looks like it was a good pull. And then this one, yep. And that one I don't want to pull any higher, so I'm going to shoot it with some alcohol. My alcohol is in my pouch, accessible. So I'm going to let that sit. Yeah, you just want to make sure you don't make more work for yourself. All right, so I got my Cars Former hammer hanging for me, ready on my pouch. So I'm here ready to blend. So basically you can see, come up here, Will. So you can see I pulled a slight little high there, slight high there. So I like to pull the ones that need a pull, and then these are just shallow so I can blend those out. So here I'm going to come in with my Cars Former hammer and I'm going to blend those out, which basically means I'm just going to just manipulate the metal down, sculpt it down. And as you can see, I'm not using my right hand. I can use my right hand, but you're going to get a little bit contorted. This is why I say it's important to be ambidextrous. So I'm going to sit here with my left hand and I'm going to blend this out. So right there, and then I'm going to get into the other more shallow dents here that did not need a tab. And another thing when you're blending, you don't want to over grip the hammer and force the hammer down. You want to kind of hold it a little bit looser and let the weight of the hammer do the work, and then you can get into that quicker rhythm where it's almost bouncing off the panel. That's the noise and the rhythm that you want to hear. More of a steady, smooth noise. You don't want to clunk it down. So I basically stay in that rhythm the whole way down the rail. So I'll place 2 tabs, and then as those tabs are setting, I'll do a little bit of blending, and then I'll just work my way down the rail. If you're not using blending hammers, you're in the Stone Age. It's the best way to move metal quickly and efficiently. It's also going to allow you to get your light back farther and get better reads on the metal. So get competent with the blending hammers, be able to use it with both hands, and you're going to turn into a rail god very shortly. So getting you a good portable glue gun is important. I used just a cheaper one and it was dripping everywhere. So the Trifecta has been really good for us. It doesn't drip. It's very precise. It seems durable. As far as glue point, I like to use a mini lifter because I find that I can control the leverage a little better than a slide hammer. And I get a little bit less paint that tends to pop. I've had a lot of paint pop with the slide hammer, but I do use a slide hammer depending on where the dents are. I might use a slide hammer on that little guy there just because of how the mini lifter is going to sit there. But yeah, a lot of this is just preference. But yeah. So for most of our hail repairs, we use some of the shave tools. This was a 5-piece, what is this, the blem set. And you can see how they are shaved down, meaning that they're just tapered as they go down to the tip of the tool. We like these because they don't flip, the tips don't flip, and you can actually bend them. Show them how you can bend that smaller one, Will. So you can actually bend the tool to give you a little bit of an arc so that your hand isn't hitting the top of the hood as you're getting in a brace. So get in there, show them how you can get into that brace. So you can bend that and you can get up into that brace and you can get right on those dents up in there. And so those these shave tools, so I believe it comes with a 5-piece set. This is one of the larger ones, so this goes into a lot of the factory holes in the hoods, nice, and you can just get a lot of leverage. And yeah, for a lot of our hail, this is what we fix. Then of course, we use some of the straight bars. Though for some of the open panels, this is just a dent craft, just a straight rod with a 90-degree bend on the end. That's a sharp tip. You can put a cherry on some of these. And we'll just hang that from the hood with some S-hooks, and we'll get leverage up underneath and hang it, and we'll just leverage up, yeah, some of those hail dents in the open panels. And then if you don't want to reach down to, grab a rod or put a S-hook up, we will use, that drive tool. He keeps it in his pouch, and, you can just reach up in there and you can just push out a little open panel dent just like that. It does take a little bit of hand strength, but it's good for you. It's good to strengthen your hands. Some other tools, you got to have some good whale tails. These are the Blem wider whale tails. I don't remember the exact dimensions on these tips, but it's the fattest head that they use for those whale tails. So those are great just for braces. We have 3 different sizes for those. They're good for roofs as well, as you're getting into some of the bracing in the roof. But yeah, just getting up in there through the brace, and then you just twist and leverage those dents out. As far as the roof goes, again, we use the hangers that we placed up there, and then you got to have a big stick, my big pogo stick. So this right here is the Carbon Tech breakdown rod. Expensive, but well worth the money. So this is going to allow you to come through the back, through the opening, and just hit most of the roof with that one tool there. It's adjustable. You can put different tips up there, and yeah, that's a must-have for hail repair. Yeah, these are some of the tools that we use for hail repair. Again, you want to have all your stuff organized on your cart so you can just reach down and get it. You can see my cart's getting a little bit disorganized. I got them tendencies. I got to keep everything organized. Will's better than me. But yeah, this is a little bit of the process. There's lots of different ways to approach a hail car. We're not necessarily doing it the exact correct way. Everyone does a little bit different, but we've been doing this a while. I've been doing hail work for about 12 years. So I've had some good mentors, and yeah, this is how we approach a lot of our hail projects. I'm going to sound like the annoying parent right now, but another pretty obvious thing to think about is when you're working on hail, it's long stretches of 10 plus hours sometime when you're working on multiple vehicles, or you're moving all around a vehicle, you're on your feet all day, you have to stare in, be really focused. It's very mentally and physically draining. So just staying hydrated, keeping your body healthy, not eating a ton. Probably you guys have noticed that if you eat a bunch of food and you go try and get into that hail mode, that hail grind, you get groggy, you're not focused, and you're just kind of moving like a sloth. So try and eat good, don't eat a lot of sugar. Just take care of yourself. It's hard to do that when you're hail chasing. I know the tendency is to just gorge out on fast food or whatever's easy, but definitely take the time to just treat your body good. Your balance sheet is gonna like that. You're gonna be a lot more efficient. So this goes off one of my other earlier points where I talked about your mindset. Another thing to do is, I'm kind of being a hypocrite right now because I'm working on a hail project and I'm on my phone, but I have to make some content. But is to stay off of your phone. Don't look at your phone as much. I have that weakness where I have people call me for business, and I put out content for the business, and I look at my phone too much. Shout out to my brother-in-law Will. He's only a 3-year tech, but that's one advantage that he has, is he really stays focused, and he's able to just hone in on the art of staying focused and just bang out cars. And he keeps up with 10-year plus techs just because of his mindset and staying focused, and he just keeps grinding and doesn't get distracted. So don't get distracted. Focus in on them dents. Make them bitches disappear.